to turn our attention back to the American Legislative Exchange Council.
Thank you.
No, thank you. We just wanted to oblige, right? They made an ask. So, what I'd like to do is bring up Lisa Graves first. Lisa is the Executive Director of the Center for Media and Democracy, who should get a Courage Award in this country for their risk of actually posting this stuff live on the web. As many of you know, there's a whistleblower that came forward. That person will always remain anonymous, who said, look, you know, I have this stuff. This was stuff that no one has ever been able to pierce the veil of ALEC to actually see the content behind some of these bills. And their titles sometimes can be a little misconstrued. I'm going to ask all of our panelists, because we're running a bit behind, we're going to stick to about 5 minutes, okay? And as you can see, that's going to take a bit, right? So 5 minutes, and then we're going to open this up, and then we're going to work as a community. All right? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Graves.
Well, as a native of Colorado, one of the Four Corner states, I can't quite claim Arizona as my home, but I'm very happy to be here tonight and be with such distinguished guests who have been so active in the community here, and this distinguished set of panelists. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Common Cause and People for the American Way and our brothers and sisters in labor who have come together to help put this together and help support this widening of awareness about ALEC. So I hope that you'll join me, please, in thanking Doug for all the efforts in putting this together tonight. So this is my site, alecexposed.org. It was a labor of love. My little team and I spent endless hours poring over all these bills, over 800 bills, developing a set of resources on the politicians who are ALEC politicians on our other site, SourceWatch, which you can get to if you go to ALEC politicians over there before the guy with the hat. You can go and see politicians in your state, and there's also a great report that People for the American Way and Common Cause are issuing today in hard copy that you can see those politicians and more information about them. We put together pages on the ALEC corporations, a set of the ALEC corporations, who their CEOs are, what their profit margins were, what their lobbying activities were, what their safety and environmental records were, their records with regard to labor and employee rights, a set of resources for you, and those resources are all at this site, alecexposed.org. So I know you're here because you're not confused that the ALEC that you may be concerned about most is ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, not Alec Baldwin. Although in my heart, I yearn for people to know Alec more than Alec Baldwin. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. When I was buying this site, the guy who I registered with said, who are you exposing? And I was so nervous because it was secret. I said Alec Baldwin. And then I caught myself and I said, but they're not naked. It's not about naked pictures. Because I couldn't tell him it was about the American Legislative Exchange Council. So since we're at a community college, I thought I'd have a pop quiz for you about who is ALEC, what is ALEC. Is ALEC the largest association of state legislators in the country?
Yes.
Are you an ALEC PR operation? Is ALEC a corporate bill mill?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is. Is ALEC a place where corporations come to schmooze and booze and wine and dine politicians? Yes. You bet. You bet. Is ALEC a place where corporations and politicians have an equal vote?
Yes.
I mean, apparently it is. Oh, behind closed doors? Legislation to change your rights? Oh, yeah, it is. Is ALEC a group that claims it does not lobby? Now, Common Cause is actually going to complain with the IRS about this, but it claims it does not lobby, but brags about the hundreds of bills introduced each year? Yeah, that's ALEC. That's not Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is not an alumni of a group that calls John Boehner, Eric Cantor, Scott Walker, Jan Brewer, John Kasich, Russell Pierce, as alums. That's not ALEC. ALEC is a way for some of the richest interests in our country, let alone the world, have a way to make their will legally binding on the rest of us. It's a way for the Koch brothers, through Koch Industries and also through the foundations of Charles Koch and other endeavors, to basically take the extraordinary efforts to rework our entire set of American institutions in their own image, to push that through a body in which corporations get an equal vote to politicians behind closed doors, deputize those politicians to basically act as super lobbyists, pushing those bills forward in the state legislatures, cleansed of any reference to the fact that they were ALEC bills in the first place, or that they themselves may have voted behind closed doors with corporations on those bills, and that's why they want the hearing to happen so fast, and that's why there can't be any real amendments, and that's why it's going to be jammed through the legislature and imposed on you in the blink of an eye. That's ALEC. ALEC, as you can see if you go along the right-hand side of this site, workers' rights, tort reform and the rights of injured Americans, the rights about schools, our right to public education, environment and health, energy, agriculture, our democracy, crime, budgets, taxes, guns, prisons. They are targeting the entire realm of law to change the law in ways that make it harder for Americans and Arizonans who are injured or killed by corporations to get justice in court, to have their 7th Amendment right to a jury trial, a trial to jury their peers. Those bills work to basically rewrite our public education system to funnel more and more dollars into the private sector without proper oversight and without an actual democratically enacted and accountable school board. I could go on and on and on, but I won't because Doug says I've got a little bit of time left, only a little bit. And I would just say that if you want to know, if you see some bad bill talked about in the paper, some bill that causes you concern, it may or may not be an ALEC bill. It might have ALEC DNA, as will be amply demonstrated by some of my colleagues here in a moment. But if it's a bad idea, it probably does have some ALEC DNA in it, I would say. Just my opinion. So I know that there are going to be people who are speaking out tomorrow, who are going to be protesting, in part about the way ALEC represents a marriage of politicians and money and special interests that really, in my view, represents what's really gone wrong in our democracy. They favor Citizens United. They don't believe it should be repaired by having increased disclosure rules, because they don't want more disclosure on the marriage of corporations and politicians. So let me just conclude with 2 quick thoughts. First, this whole issue of privatization. You've heard this phrase over and over and over again. I've been puzzling over it for some time, because the agenda down that right-hand side is about privatizing our public institutions. But it's really more than that. This is about taking your tax dollars and funneling them into the private sector to increase the profits of corporations. Then these corporations have the audacity, CCA, these corporations have the audacity to come back and tell you that they're the biggest employer in your county. I have news for you, you're the biggest employer in your county. They then take your tax dollars, take the profits, and then come back and lobby those politicians with your tax dollars for more privatization. It is a thing of beauty if it were not so monstrous. If it were not so monstrous. So I have this little frog. This is a little reminder myself of the frog that has been slowly boiled in the water. But now we have a great awakening going on. I don't want to just pick on CCA, even though it is near to Christmas time, and they have had the audacity to claim that in their years on ALEC's task forces, they don't vote. They merely observe. And I say, like Santa Claus, checking out who's naughty and who's nice, which legislators are favorable to them and which are not. I think that all the ALEC corporations deserve to be well known and held to account, along with the politicians. And so I'm very pleased to be here tonight to help defy corporate domination, to help, this is expose ALEC right here, to help expose ALEC and to join you in making this pool of knowledge that we'll have here tonight broader and broader and broader so that everyone knows who ALEC is, even more than Alec Baldwin. Yeah.